What's up everyone? I kind of want to talk about how I feel about the Black Adam film. Let's put it this way, we have Shang-Chi, the first superhero film featuring an East Asian character as the lead. We have an East Asian actor, Simu Liu, playing Shang-Chi. We are possibly getting Miss Marvel, and hopefully a South Asian, preferably a Pakistani, playing her. But then with Black Adam, it is technically the first Middle Eastern-led superhero film, and yet we do not have a Middle Eastern actor. And that's why I'm very disappointed. For real, let's be honest, Dwayne Johnson is an actor I love to watch. He's very charismatic, and I loved his films from Game Plan to Tooth Fairy, Jumanji. Yes, his Jumanji films, I like them. Hobbs vs. Shaw, his appearances in Fast and Furious, and the G.I. Joe sequel. Yes, I know some of these films weren't considered the best, or some people have mixed views on them, but I personally like Dwayne Johnson, and it's really cool that in films like Moana, Baywatch, and Hobbs vs. Shaw, he gets to represent his Samoan heritage in some way. But the casting of Dwayne Johnson feels like a disappointment for me, because I don't see why they couldn't have casted a Middle Eastern actor to play Black Adam. In the case of Black Panther, we have a fictional East African country where Chadwick Boseman and the rest of the cast would speak with African accents and occasionally throw in phrases in African languages, which I believe were Xhosa and Igbo. So why can't we have Black Adam speaking with a Middle Eastern accent and maybe even speak in the native language of Kandak, which according to the comics, Kandak is in fact a Muslim nation, and they would likely speak Arabic like a lot of other Arabic nations in that area. Sure, Black Adam doesn't have to go around saying Arabic phrases all the time, but it would be at least nice for him to have the Middle Eastern accent, which Dwayne Johnson most likely won't do. And it's ironic because in many of the animations and in the Injustice games, Black Adam has a Middle Eastern accent. In fact, NetherRealm Studios casted Joey Naber, an Arab-American voice actor, to voice Black Adam with a Middle Eastern accent, and yet we can't even get a Middle Eastern actor to play Black Adam in live action, and that's why it disappoints me. The film industry's racism is difficult to really explain, but we have a lot of instances where characters like Ra's al Ghul gets whitewashed so many times. Then you've got Khan Noonien Singh. Yes, he's not Middle Eastern, he's South Asian, but I heard a quote saying something along the lines of they casted Benedict Cumberbatch because it would have been seen bad to make a Middle Eastern actor play a Middle Eastern character as a villain, which is clearly missing the point. There are a lot of actors of North African, South Asian and West Asian origin that would just love to play a character, regardless if they are a hero or a villain. If they are a good character, they'd love to play them. It's better often than just playing a side character in every single story, especially if the side character is terrorist number 1 or Al-Qaeda number 2, which, strangely enough, Mina Masood, who played Aladdin, his first role was Al-Qaeda number 2. I also like to harken back to Ridley Scott's comment. According to Ridley Scott, studios do not fund movies with the right budget if your cast is named Mohammed so-and-so from such and such. This was something he said, and he was justifying the whitewashing of several films. Exodus, Gods of Egypt, Prince of Persia, the Mummy films and several other films set in the Middle East featuring Middle Eastern characters, yet not a single Middle Eastern actor in any of them. You're more likely to actually see actors of black, white and oriental origins, but never Middle Eastern, and is pretty jarring at this case, but it makes a lot of sense. Casting Dwayne Johnson for Black Adam actually proves what Ridley Scott said. And this is kind of my problem with why I feel like Dwayne Johnson shouldn't have been casted for Black Adam, because it further encourages this idea that if you've got a Middle Eastern, if you've got an Arabic or Muslim sounding name, you can't even represent your own culture. And this is why I'm disappointed at the casting. This isn't a reason though to hate Dwayne Johnson. I don't want people having this whole cancel culture or let's hate on Dwayne Johnson for this, because it's not the actor's fault. It's really the people who choose who gets casted in this film. They clearly do not research the characters properly, and when they do cast the characters, they disregard their background. This happened with Hellboy, where Ed Skrein, British man of Polish and Austrian descent, he was casted for the role of Daimyo in Hellboy, Daimyo who is Japanese American. When he realised this, he went to Twitter and said that he'd be dropping out of the role because he believes the character should be appropriately casted. But why can't we get this for Middle Eastern characters? Why is it so many times for characters of even not just Middle Eastern but South Asian origin, West Asian, North African characters constantly get denied having the actors of the right backgrounds? Again, Khan Noonan's Indian, but he's played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Ra's al Ghul is Arabic, yet he got played by Liam Neeson, and he also got played by a white guy in Arrow. Can't remember the guy's name, to be honest. We also had the fact that Chiwetel Ejiofor played Venkat Kapoor in another film. Why couldn't they cast an Indian to play him? I mean, the name Venkat Kapoor is clearly an Indian guy. Other examples is the inclusion of non-Middle Eastern actors in films like Gods of Egypt, The Mummy, Scorpion King. People complain about whitewashing, but it's not just whitewashing that's the problem. You are including people of black descent, oriental descent, white descent, but never someone of Middle Eastern origin. Why is it that hard for you to cast a Middle Eastern person to play a Middle Eastern character? That is kind of my point here. You are more likely to see Kelly Hu in Scorpion King and Elodie Yung in Gods of Egypt than you are to actually see someone of Middle Eastern descent playing a Middle Eastern character in a big Hollywood film, and that's something that needs to change. Aladdin was one step forward. We had Mina Masood, Marwan Kenzari, Naveed Negaban, Numan Akkar, and Nasim Pedrad. We had 5 Middle Eastern actors as part of the main lead. Sure, the only big film stars was Naomi Scott and Will Smith, both of whom aren't of Middle Eastern origin, and neither of the two have Middle Eastern names. Coincidence? Not surprisingly. If you've got a name like Smith or Scott, it's very easy to get an acting role, but you've got a surname like Masood or Negaban, nah, you're probably not getting an acting role very easily. So whilst Aladdin is the one step forward, Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam is 2 steps back. And I'm making this video because I want people to understand my problem with the casting of Black Adam. And this isn't Dwayne Johnson's fault, it's just the industry as a whole needs to change. And I'm making this video because I want everyone watching this to understand that this change needs to happen. Thank you for listening.